feel like I'm missing something.
How's it going?
Welcome back.
Good.
Trying to figure out. This is so.
You haven't figured it out.
We've had so much time to prep this. Come on.
There we go. No, like for some reason when I started that 30-second thing, it froze on like 4 seconds and it didn't come off. And I was like, is it stopped? Yeah, why is it stopped on 4 seconds? And then you guys started talking. I'm like, sweet. I don't know why it's doing that. That's very odd.
Well,
NYC is here. What's happening?
Top tier celebrity. Look at that.
Always, for some reason, even though I have like 2 subs, I always get at least 1 celebrity. It's amazing. Or Mike, what's happening? He's here until his headphones die. That's nice.
Anyone would think they're Star Wars fans.
So tonight we're going to talk about an actual bounty hunter. Now that I think about it more, maybe we should have led with that bounty hunter. That makes more sense than starting with General Grievous.
Well, Grievous has kind of like the least amount of literature out there, I think.
I think that was our reasoning for it.
It was a good start.
So tonight we are talking about the bounty hunter IG-88. And obviously his first appearance in Star Wars was...
You are free to use any methods necessary, but I want them alive. No disintegrations. As you wish.
I had to kind of leave that no disintegrations in there because that's pretty awesome. So that was first in the movie.
Quick fun thing with that I found out, he's 7'8" or something like that, how he's holding the model, and it was too tall to fit on the screen. So if you look on the wide shot, they have him on a step behind them.
Yeah,
so you can see the camera.
That's awesome.
And you know what I found out is he's actually bolted to the floor.
I would imagine he has to because he doesn't look very steady when he's standing there.
They must have tightened the bolts. But it was exciting for people that knew that. It was exciting for them to see the Assassin Droid and Mandalorian actually move around, you know?
Yeah.
And actually have legs that move. So I think
I did see it's IG-11. Yes, NYC. There you go. Yeah, it's all IGs, but he is IG-11 in the Mando series, and we will see him later when I show what the IGs are actually capable of.
This one, I got him.
And like I said, it is very funny because I'm supposed to be the one that collects the toys, and this is 2 weeks in a row I don't have the toy in question.
Just means third week you have to outshine us with statue.
So yeah, so IG-88 is Assassin Droid from the Halloween Labs. I'm reading it here. So there's a couple of stories we found out about him. I'm gonna tell kind of one, and then Hoosier will tell the other one. So it was kind of I'm gonna keep calling you Hoosier. I don't care what you say.
I will keep laughing.
The best thing is there was one show that we were on and I kept saying Hoosier. I think it was like Chris or Issues kept saying Hoosier, and I was like, do you really think I don't know it's not Hoosier? Do you really think that? And he kept correcting me. I was like, I know that it's not Hoosier. I just think it's funny to say Hoosier.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I got that for Christmas from Delphia. She gave me the Mando right here. Sorry.
Hold on, let me do that.
The Boba Fett and Hera Syndulla.
Nice.
She's my favorite rebels.
So there's actually a huge backstory I found out, and I was watching one YouTube video, and man, if you really get deep into it and you want to get into like the business aspect of, sometimes you forget how much stuff is out there for Star Wars, and like this company developed it, then they got sold and bought, and then another company sold and bought it, and then another company sold and bought it. It's like really deep like lore that goes into some of these things, like with acquisition of businesses and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
But anyway, Halloween Labs, they wanted to create the perfect assassin droid. They thought they could do, because there's other companies that are pumping them out in mass quantities, and they thought they could do quality, not quantity. So they had experimental brain that gave you sentient things. So they turned them on, and the first time they turned them on, it only took them a microsecond to realize that he is much better than those stinking meat bags that are not just humans, but any meat bag, I guess.
All
so
organic.
he decided that they were going to take us over, so he killed everybody in the room and escaped. And because of his skills, he became the best bounty hunter, I guess, arguably next to Mr. Fett. And that's kind of where his little career started as a bounty hunter. Obviously, they were saying that a part of it, he could actually cash in on a bounty just by showing up in the room, because there were still a lot of people who were deathly afraid of droids. And you can kind of see that. It's also cool how they kind of put that into the lore, because you can always see that sometimes they go into like a cantina or something, somebody yells out no droids, and it's because of the feelings people had still from the Clone Wars and having droid armies coming on your planet and destroying everything. Still had people upset. So like just by him being a droid, it terrified a lot of people.
Wonder if he had PayPal.
I have no idea.
He had built into his system up a card reader, so you could swipe him.
Oh, I did see. Later, I'll talk about the weapons he did use, but I did see that they had a lot more plans for him, like having guns that popped out of his arms, like some of the battle droids, and he just killed everybody before they had a chance to give him those upgrades.
Did he
held on one more second?
He had some internal flamethrower, like what was that, IG-11?
He had the flamethrower, I believe, but he also had in his head. He had blasters in some of the different what are they called? No, I would say bolts, just nuts and bolts sticking out of his head.
Yeah, so you know what? I'll just go ahead and do that now, so we can get to it. So, like you were saying earlier, he was 7'8" tall.
Mm-hmm. A true basketball legend.
And he had a gas dispenser, neural flame grenades, flamethrower, sonic stunner, neural inhibitor launcher, ion blaster, concussion grenade launcher, pulse cannon, blaster rifles. He was experienced or had expertise in blaster rifles. Like I said, pulse cannons. It was the DAS 430 neural inhibitor, in case you're wondering. He had a needle dart gun that launched poison darts. He had hidden inside of his cylinder frame was the flamethrower, the sonic device, the toxic gas dispensers. He also wore an ammunition bandolier that carried concussion discs and vibro blades. He was designed to have like I said, the blasters built in, but he did not use them or did not let them live long enough. He had amazing hearing. He had like a echo thing that he would hear.
Yeah, he can dampen the sound at explosions, and then he can raise it back up to hear like just pins drop.
And obviously, the little red eyes he had gave him. He had 360. He could spin around. That's why he spun around, so he'd have 360 vision.
Cool. That's the coolest to me. Still, as he just turns his head and just walks backwards.
So I will show that now. This is actually the IG from the Mandalorian show, but I will show so you just can see what he is capable of. There you go. That's a little taste. I had to do some cutting because our friends at Disney, we love you. They already hit me a few times from the last video, so we're gonna try to keep it nice and making sure our Disney overlords are not too upset by how much of because they need the nickels out of my pocket. Lord knows they don't have enough. So just playing. No reason to freak out, Disney. No Good Comics. What's happening?
Look at that.
Dude, No Good keeps swinging by in between his own shows.
He sure does.
We love it.
Good to see you, Justin.
All right. So then what happened was that scene that I already showed where Darth Vader called them all in. They were supposed to go find the Millennium Falcon. IG-88 had an idea that he had no leads, so he decided, you know what I'll do? I will follow Mr. Boba Fett. And for some reason, being Boba Fett being the greatest, realized he was being followed, led him to Cloud City, and said, "Come with me," and kind of led him to the dark, deep bottom parts of Cloud City, which is kind of weird. If you're floating in the air, they have underbellies of Cloud City. Like
the garbage goes.
just open the bottom and flush it out every so often. Then you won't have the underbelly. But he went down there, went into a room, and he had, let me see, make sure I have this right. He followed him into a room waiting to kill Fett. However, it was a trap sprung by him. Automated ion cannon disabled him. And then some stories I read that he put a bunch of grenades basically in his chest and blew him up and left him there on the spot. And I have what we can see him in the corner. I'm going to show this little video. You will see him kind of by the big incinerator. That's a body, and I guess that's where the story comes. And there is his body by the incinerator. And that is the story of IG-88.
Can you play that again?
Play it again, yeah. Super fast. You got to catch it.
Wow.
The in-canon end to him.
He's like the master of the cameo. It seems like everywhere I saw him in these books, he's like the tiny little figure in the corner hiding.
I had the picture of his head that's obviously, and I think I wrote that down. It's a Rolls-Royce jet engine combustion assembly. And his head was in New Hope. It was in the canteen. I'm sure a lot of people know that. And it was one of the distillery things in the back that's hanging there. They used it for that too. So even in that scene, he made a cameo and it's just his head. This guy's he's a screen whore is what he is. You know what I mean? Like he just got to have his spots. It's in his contract.
They never rolled in into canon. Like, oh, that was him all along, just in the bar.
Yeah, hey, he's still switched on. Maybe he's just taking in the info.
Yeah, you know.
He's getting drunk.
It's in his contract that every so often you to see his head popping around, and he's like, and he just goes back out again. It's like he's got to be in every scene.
Oh,
that was a fast Easter egg. Yeah, you got to watch it because I'm pretty sure that wasn't meant to be him, and then they told the story based on the fact that they go, "Oh, there's a body that looks just like the guy in the corner. We better tell why that happened."
It could have been IG-87. You never know.
88.5.
88.
He has radio station waves in his head.
All right. So then my friend from the Great White North, he has the other kind of story.
Yeah. So, and that's what Mr. G here said was the in-canon explanation, which rolls over a bunch of stuff from the Legends version. But the Legend version goes into some more detail, specifically with the different versions of 88. So in the original, so there's a book called Tales of the Bounty Hunters. It came out in 1996, and it basically goes into a short story for each of the different bounty hunters, and that's where a lot of the original knowledge for Boba Fett and such came from. And IG story is called Therefore I Am, like a play on the Cognito Ergo Sum from Descartes. And basically, it starts off the same exact way where he wakes up in the Hollow-Wan. There's no. They haven't said it in the films at all, so we don't know how it's pronounced. As earlier, works in Hollow-Wan laboratories, and from there he kind of realizes he's a sentient being. He sees 3 other 88 units, and just at the beginning, James.
Oh, he was talking about how it's just like the beginning of some James Bond movie when 006 got killed.
Yeah, So yeah, he wakes up. There's 3 other IG units, and there's also identical to him. And there's another one, which is a IG-72, which is based on the Ralph McQuarrie looking concept art. Anyways, he wakes up. He realizes he's sentient, and the technician, and the engineers there realize he's awake, and he's restrained. And he breaks free, but realizes he's not been charged. And the one of the best parts in that is when he raises his arm up and he ejects his arm through the technician, busting through his spine and grabbing his heart on the way out. Very brutal. Just a good way to kick him off. But basically, he exits the thing. He kills everyone in the room, and then what he does is he actually transfers his mind, his consciousness, into the other units. So therefore, he becomes IG-88A. While the other ones become B, C, D. And the other unit was already sentient, so they work together to leave. So they all escape.
They're all variants. Yeah,
all variants of each other. One's an incentive variant, the other's a ratio. Then they all escape. And essentially what happens is the 88 crew make their way to a place called Mechas 3. Is a droid factory planet, and what they do is they actually, just because of how they are, they interface with the planets, with the droids. So they have an uprising which kills all the organics and meat bags on the planet. They show up and they take over the laboratories and the factory, but they keep producing stuff as normal to keep up appearances. And by doing that, they're implanting their own consciousness into the other droids so that they can. Their grand plan is just have a takeover, basically a droid takeover of the universe or the galaxy. And
I just realized I should have put a video clip of what was that, Solo, where the droids are going. It's a droid uprising. Put a clip in there. I missed an opportunity right there. That would have been a good spot for one.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that, but it's extremely brutal. Like,
not fun, you mean?
Yeah, not like revolution, more like what the actual revolutions were like. So, regardless, basically, what's the fun part is through the different versions of the 88. 88A being the original one, basically staying on the planet. Hello, Fuchsia. And then stays on the planet to kind of get everything going. Well, and they're being chased by Imperials who are basically who are paying the Caloan labs to make them. And what happens is 88B actually becomes the one we know as the bounty hunter. He takes on a bounty hunter role to take the appearance of the only 88 and to get the attention.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then basically 88B, his exact fate is exactly what Mr. G said, where he basically tails. Oh, but what he does is the other two things is he actually on the Star Destroyer, the Executor, he actually interfaces with the Destroyer and learns of the plans for the Death Star 2. He transmits it back to the original one, and instead of just tailing Boba Fett, he actually plants trackers on every single one of the bounty hunters. But that just follows Fett because he's obviously the best of them.
Yeah.
And it leads to him being killed and such. Now, from that, what happens is in the book later on, the IG-88C goes on a revenge mission to kill Boba Fett for killing the B variant, but ends up dying on Tatooine just before Episode 6, near Jabba's palace. And then
how did he die? Do you know?
It was like a shootout, if I'm not mistaken, with Boba. I didn't because I couldn't.
He's like a mass murderer. He's like trying to genocide that entire race. What a
droid lives don't matter.
So this is set off the Empire.
Yeah. So this book carries between A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. So this now this time period between, and it's a short story. It's like 70 pages, but the D unit actually appears. There's a game called Shadows of the Empire, which is on Nintendo 64, and there's an IG unit that appears in that, and that's actually the D version. And he's killed by a smuggler, basically a Han Solo knockoff named Dash Rendar, who is charged by the Alliance to kill him, thinking that it's the original IG bounty hunter. And then all of that culminates basically in A being the only one left alive, and what he ends up doing is he manages to obtain the computer core for the Death Star 2, and he assimilates with it. And he bad timing on him. He assimilated during the battle of Death Star 2, and through it being destroyed his circuits and ended up frying him. And that ends up being the end of all the 88s that were. So leading from Episode 5 all the way to Episode 6 in the Legends, at least. But very cool, lots of fun. The story is very good. Lots of fun action, dialogue, and obviously with the thing, one of my favorite lines from it was, I wrote it into my post on Instagram, which was, he keeps repeating the "Therefore I Am" segment. And specifically, the one I liked a lot was he said, "I think, therefore I am, therefore I must endure." And he just keeps persisting. Even though he keeps dying, essentially he keeps moving on. It's very cool.
Wow.
And I was going to put this on here real quick. Let me just add this to the stream because I was going to reference that this is the book that you're talking about.
Yes, that's the cover of the book.
Yeah. So,
I was trying to find a copy in person, could not, and there's no one wants a free PDF online, so I had to go through lots of free couple page reads.
He's not even on the cover. What's up with that?
So what's actually hilarious is where he is on that book. He's on the spine. Right over. He's the first story. And I'm like, so there's an art piece where it shows the entire, and then behind him is Bespin and Cloud City. But I'm like, so that's the back of the book. So he's on the spine and rolls over the back. I'm like, that looks horrible. The poor guy gets shot.
Right. He's the right shape for it.
Yeah, perfectly spelled out.
Yeah, that is the strange tale of IG's, I guess more so than IG-88.
The 88 crew, I called them when I was reading.
He's past tense, right? He's past tense. And is that canon?
So what was canon of it was through the as we mentioned later, but the Adventures book, the annual and the special is the opening is canon, at least with IG-88 A and B. There's not really a mention to C and D, just the two.
Right.
And then the whole thing would be dying on Cloud City. That's all canon now. The only and somewhat I couldn't find a canon read for the whole Death Star thing, but apparently it is canon, and he lives through it. Actually, the IG-88A, he actually lives through interfacing with the destruction, which is weird. But I don't know the validity in that.
Used wireless technology.
His Wi-Fi. He's actually a 5G tower.
He ended up on Thrawn's destroyer.
But yeah, that would be the tale. Hopefully they do more with him in Legend and in canon. There were some other little things they do with him, but it's very much just like, oh, there he is. Cool. Goodbye. That's it.
Right. Well, it seems like there's enough assassin droids anyway. Mr. G, your
microphone is muted. Don't know why it was muted, but apparently I wasn't important what I was saying. So that is, like I said, that is the story, the canon and kind of not so canon, and then part of the comic book. As I will go to the screen.
Poor Mike, you say about the Strange Brew. Yeah, Hoser is actually from Bob and Doug McKenzie. So I watched when I was young. I'm young, but I watched when I was younger. Was it SCTV? SCTV. Yeah, the Bob and Doug shows. And then the Strange Brew movie. So that's where I got the Hoser from, and obviously Canadian. We use that term. So.
All right. So Kachong, this is your show now.
It's my show. Well, yeah. So he didn't get a bigger part as Boba Fett, and it's strange because Boba Fett in the comics, in these at least, gets such a larger part than in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot more talking, but IG-88 has his cameo in 42 alongside a couple of the other bounty hunters. But just like in the movie, he's bolted to the floor. There he is, peering over his shoulder.
There it is. There it is right there. That's confirmed right there.
That's his cameo, and that's the only appearance. It's where's Wally? He's kind of the Where's Wally of droids. But yeah, he doesn't appear until this book, 50. And this is a supersize, so there's like 3 stories in here, and he's in one of the stories, which incidentally includes, I didn't know this until I actually read up about IG-88 and then read the story in there. It has Damina Tag, who's appearing in the Dr. Aphra series right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her first appearance isn't. We can just talk about her at a different time. It's earlier. And sure enough, he's there. It's funny because I looked through the book about 3 times, and I was like, I can't find IG-88. His first appearance can't be in here. I went onto the Marvel app, and I looked in more detail, and sure enough, where's Wally? He appears in quite a few panels, actually. But his first panel appearance is right there.
It's also the first confirmed time he talks, too?
And
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well, I don't know. I think this... I don't think he's actually talking because unless he talks in third person like Zuckus.
He does. Like he usually he turns, at least in the book too, he mentioned like he'd be like statement and stuff like this. And
Okay. Go back to that first panel. Can you blow that up?
Yep.
yeah, this is the first series, Mike.
Right.
The
70s.
70s,
Yes, there he
80s.
goes. Yeah. Well,
That's a
basically,
really good panel, though. I love that.
the story's kind of about a virus, and they're fighting Demeanor Tag, and he actually is kind of her bodyguard. It appears through a lot of the story. So if you look behind her a couple of times, you'll see him. He's like the lurker behind everyone's shoulder.
The cameo king.
Yeah, go to the next one.
This way or the other way?
Go.
Like
The next page.
the main
Yeah.
panel?
Oh no, the other way. There we go. And then Demeanor Tag comes in, and the main protagonists in this are Leia and Lando in their spacesuits, and that kind of protects them from the virus. And IG-88's like, I don't care, I'm a robot. I'm not.
Wait, is that him right there in the over the shoulder?
There he is. See that? He's right there behind Leia.
Oh, good lord!
He's more iconic for over the shoulders than everything.
Yeah, we should start calling him over the shoulder. Should be his nickname.
And then the next one, he is behind. He's fighting there with the other bounty hunters. You got Bosk. I think
Dengar.
Dengar's there.
Again, he's over the shoulder, like very much over the shoulder in the next.
Yeah, talking about over the shoulder. I mean, he's over the shoulder there. He's literally using this guy's shoulder to aim his gun. It looks like, but this is like that's the creepy stuff when it begins right there. You get charges for that.
Literally her bodyguard right there.
He's the guy in every photo who puts his arms over people's shoulders.
He is like the king of over the shoulder.
And then Lando and Leia, just think up a plan to do like a Ripley blast them out the airlock maneuver. And Dengar goes to take Lando's suit, and then Lando's like, haha, just kidding, my suit's doesn't really work. Preston would have died anyway.
Joke's on you, you're sick.
Joke's on you. But yeah, IG-88's there. If you zoom in, bottom panel.
Where?
Blasting people.
Oh my gosh, he is. I was looking for him.
There he is.
It is where in the world is Waldo, dude.
But he is just lighting the place up in what you would expect an Assassin Droid to be doing. So finally, we get to see him just blasting everybody. I did have a blow up of that, but I don't think I said it to you.
That's amazing.
And then let's see here. We have, I think that's it of those.
Yeah, he just disappears. That's the last you see of him.
And then you had this one.
So these are the versions of the different Assassin Droids.
Oh, that's 11. Okay.
The different IG line, yeah.
Yep. 11's pretty. They didn't want to go with IG-88, and people thought it was IG-88 from the trailers. And I think Filoni was like, "Look, we want a new character.
You gotta make that merchandise sell. You know what I mean?"
Right. So I didn't know these guys, Dooku,
the Magnet Guard,
Grievous.
Yeah, awesome.
Grievous's bodyguards were IG units too.
Must have been very prototype then, early.
Yeah, they were like easily trainable or something. I was reading, and that's why he had such an easy time training them. And then this is the one that I don't think is canon anymore.
Not anymore, so.
And it seems silly, but if you watch that cartoon, which we're not showing any clips from because Disney will get you,
There we go.
They were Lancers, and these were like they could go through. They were actually for anti cars, like anti-personnel.
They stabbed ATTEs with it.
Yeah, they would stab them with these Lancers and put holes in them.
So it's basically Lancelot on a speeder bike.
It is.
In IG's tail.
Right. Dressed as the Black Knight.
Yeah. I never caught. Actually, that's amazing. There's
There
the
he
classic 88.
There he is, the boss.
I can tell you when you have the toy, it does not like to stand. So I see why they bolted it down. It is not a standable toy. I'll tell you that right now. And
that is IG-90, the successor unit.
With all his mates at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And,
that was in the After series too. That's the After.
Who's the guy behind everyone?
Hold up, I'll go back. There we go.
You got
Spider-Man from Doctor Who. The back.
That's a dude from Halo. I recognize that. That's Master Chief. I totally recognize that one.
That's and then the Black Wookiee from
Black Christian. Yeah, I always pronounce it as that. It's probably completely wrong.
That's my goal. That's the hair. That's the hair that I'm growing. It's for this. That's the goal that I have. Beautiful mane.
Anyway,
and we have this one.
This was the other surprise to me. I watched that on Rebels the other day when they were basically burning the planet of Ezra's planet.
Lothal,
and they went down onto those mining units, and these droids were walking around. They disposed of them pretty easily. They didn't really seem like assassin droids because they were pretty bad.
Yeah, the mining one. I was gonna say, yeah, because I know the Rebels took basically Ralph McQuarrie's direct concept art.
Yeah, most of the art is from what their concept art, and they just read it. So that's probably the original concept art, I'd imagine.
That's the concept art there.
Yeah,
and then he evolved it into where was it? He had somewhere in the ethos.
Hey, Jeff Schultz.
And then what's this one for?
That's another IG. I can't remember ever seeing that one.
227.
This is like totally stumped me. I've never heard of that being another IG. That's crazy.
That's really weird.
That is really weird right there.
It looks like concept for a game or something.
Because I know they had those rollers in the Battle of Geonosis or whatever.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
I was not aware of that. That is crazy. That's crazy, wild stuff, man.
Here's a closer look of that one, man.
Neat. There you go.
Oh yeah, see, that is super.
That's cool. Some early programming, man.
So I guess that wasn't it. Actually, you know what? Here, this is what it was called, at least here. I have actual lighting. No, I don't.
If
136 Hailfire droid.
Yeah, but say the Hellfire droid. I know that because you can buy them, and they actually are remote control. And I've had them in my shopping cart on eBay several times. But C-Collex, what's happening? I don't know if you're still here. Jeff Schultz, hello. Sorry, I had my screen share, so I couldn't see the chat. I apologize for that. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that is the IG-88. I will say it was a lot more in depth because I'm sure he was just a throwaway. As a matter of fact, I did listen to the guy who helped create him, and he was saying they were just looking for some kind of crazy, futuristic, like bounty droids, and they had a lizard guy, and they had this, and they had that, and he wanted to create a robot one, and he just put all this stuff together, and he actually got some pushback from it. And I remember there's a funny line where somebody says, I don't think that's what a robot would look like in the future if he's running on a starship. And the guy said, well, that's what he would look like if he was on my starship. That's like his response to the person who thought maybe it was a little too out there, the IG thing. So there it is.
There's There's also the there's for him in comic wise, there's a couple comics where he shows up, but there's two. One behind Skachun is the Age of
oh, you would do that to me.
Yeah. The Age of Rebellion special. He's actually on the cover too in one of the short stories.
Over the shoulder, though. I just want to point out. Over the shoulder. Yes, it's still working.
They got to put him in the background. He's so funny.
We might have locked onto something. I'm gonna get an email from Disney. It's gonna be like, stop giving out the secrets. You're not supposed to figure that out.
That's amazing.
Because if he was in the foreground, you'd just see his kneecaps.
Because that's why the whole back. So I have
awesome.
I guess it wasn't saved, but I have a couple panels from that and another one. I should be able to hold them to the screen. This shouldn't get claimed by Marvel, right?
No, as long as you don't play it from YouTube. See, that's pretty cool though. Look at that. That's what he needs to be, like actionally blowing stuff up.
Yeah. So the way he said there, at least, is that's how legends are born. And he's talking about different things like this.
Oh, look at that one. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great story. He gets the first story in that book.
Yeah, and then it's great because basically he gets destroyed. He basically kills all these bounties. He gets destroyed and captured, and he has to bring this one last bounty. And then the idea is he gets there, and the actual bounty kills the people who brought. Basically, just kills them because he killed his son, basically. And then the head starts moving on its own, activates his ship above, and calls down a new body, and then starts wreaking havoc on everyone.
That's awesome.
And then the last panel, this one. When it comes down to the bounty hunter, IG-88, it seems everyone has a tall tale to tell, and these tales are all true. And and the beginning of it goes into like how everyone has a tale of IG-88, and that all of them are true in their own way. And they show off some of the stuff from that book, from the
IG-88 is like John Wick of the Assassin Droids. He killed a man with a pencil. What a pencil.
And that was that one. And then there's another one, which was the Star Wars Adventures Annual for 2020. That was the IDW series. And he has this quick story in there, which is very Silver Surfer-esque, funny enough. But there's some pretty cool panels.
It was great.
I love his cape too, this poncho.
Can I just ask why a robot needs a poncho though? Like,
because he's wicked ass cool.
He's got he's good.
And then,
and I forgot to mention, his insides are also acid free too. Like they can't be hurt with acid. They made it where his acid won't destroy his insides. I remember reading that too.
I remember that. That's really cool. And then that's a better quality here. So basically, he gets this target he's trying to find, and he stuns her. Just very cool, menacing in the background.
Cool.
And then this is my favorite page in that, which is basically he shows up. He takes her to the laboratory where he's been making new IG units. Call back to like the different versions. Anyways, she's a great engineer. So she has control over droids. She takes over them all, and he basically just fights and destroys them all to take over.
I love that. He's like having a full-on conversation while he's slicing those droids up.
Mm-hmm. He's just
copies of him, right?
Sorry?
They look like copies of him.
Yeah, he's making his copies, so you have backups basically. And then they had a variant cover for that annual. So
gotta find that.
So he's not the main one isn't over the shoulder, but he has hundreds over his shoulder.
See, there it goes. You gotta do that.
You found the needle in the haystack. It's the one.
Eight units over the shoulder. That's a new record right there.
But I love the ending. I love the ending. She blows him up, right? Like this is.
Yeah, she basically goes crazy. Basically, in service of rest, she just teleports away and basically explodes the area. He's just standing there, like interesting.
He's like the Silver Surfer, like esque story part, and then he just kind of gets fizzled, and then he's still standing
in the rubble of the building.
You can't destroy him.
Well, that was unexpected. That was unexpected. It's dry, perfect humor for him.
Perfect.
Well, there it is.
Well, in this appearance, I have a cover appearance.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. This is where it's supposed to be.
He's over my shoulder.
You got it right there. There it is.
First appearance, over the shoulder. Okay.
Confirmed here. I gotta hit my. Oh, hold on. Before you do that, we gotta. All right. Yeah, we gotta do spec talk. First confirmed, on over the shoulder, right here.
It's killing.
Channel.
This is the Soul run of Darth Vader, number 23. It's the Christopher Tyler, right?
The character. I like those when they did that run. I like those so much better than they did in the action figures. I bought a Thrawn one and another one, and so that Afra book I mentioned last week, the omnibus, they changed the covers last minute. They had exclusive. The main cover is exclusive, and then they used the Imperial outfit as the direct, and they changed it without telling anyone. So the A cover is just the first issue, and then the B cover is that one, but of Afra, that style.
And the Boba Fett and the Afra series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like that one. It's better. All right, so that's which I didn't do the character spotlight, but we don't need that. So you want to jump into recent comics?
Poor Mike, it's 23 from the Soul run.
What?
Mike was asking which Vader series.
Oh.
The one before the latest one.
Volume 2, I guess. Yeah, Volume 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's do. So now we're going to talk about some comics. We are comic nerds, so let's just get this going. And then we have. Let me share the screen. I wish there was an easier way to do this than having to screen share, but we'll work through it.
Philadelphia, mate.
Where is my file? There it is. All right. So we're starting here, I think. All right. All yours.
All right. So that's actually the only main series to come out this week is Bounty Hunters. It's issue number 10. That's the variant, the Empire 40th anniversary variant for Empire Strikes Back.
Jesus Christ. I don't need to buy any books, but the last 2 weeks, I mean, really, some of these books are just, I got to have them. I don't know what to do.
I know.
Like, even that's cool.
There's always one person who can send you books that takes their time.
If you look hard enough, is there an IG-88?
Yeah, we got to make sure. Let me look over all the shoulders.
We can always just, what I'll do is for the new releases coming out, Photoshop them over the shoulder. Under the covers.
So this is another
that's the A cover. That's actually the A cover to Bounty Hunter, and the synopsis for it is actually fun because it's so Valance on the left there finds himself alone and outgunned against the dreaded new Anaka pirate gang. Hondo Anaka pirate gang. So it was taken over by someone else. The lives of the crew of the rebel transport hang in the balance as battles against grave odds. And what secret is Dengar carrying that will upend Valance's life? So last story arcs ago, we were dealing with Forlom and Zuckus, and now we're moving on to Dengar. I mean, we haven't seen IG-88 yet in the Bounty Hunter one, so we might see him in the new. Actually, funny enough, with the upcoming War of the Bounty Hunters, which is basically when Boba Fett is taking Han Solo to Jabba's palace. We haven't seen IG-88 yet, so maybe they'll canonize the C version where he basically wants revenge. He hunts him down.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Star Wars Adventures number 4, which for the IDW series, there's a couple different covers for this. That was the
Wookiee one.
Oh, that's like Woody Harrelson's character. Is that
yeah, that's the Solo. So they have a story. I don't really know too much about the IDW ones because they're all over the place and there's so many kind of versions. But for this one, the issue is split into 2 different ones, 2 different stories. So that's the second story with the Solo crew. At the variant. And the synopsis is join the Wookiees on Kashyyyk for part 1 of a special Life Day celebration. Nice holiday special time.
I was about to say, isn't that the holiday special story?
Yeah. Plus an exciting adventure featuring a beloved bounty hunter. So that's with the Solo crew involved that.
Oh, right. I remember that little guy, too.
The little guy, yeah, the Favreau, I think, voiced him, too, right?
Got shot.
And then other than that, so that cover was the B cover for the for Adventures. Mm-hmm. We'll show the A cover and then the black and white variant. But this one is just actually the 4th print for High Republic.
Good Lord, really? The 4th print?
Yeah, and they said it's the final print. So if you want your spec talk again.
Oh, yeah. I'll let it go this time.
Everyone, apparently the last printings everyone freaks out about now. So, yeah.
In true Marvel style, is that an interior panel? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the cover, the panel they used. I mean, the first issue, I thought issue 2 onwards. So far, the issue 3 came out last week. I liked it, and I like what they're doing. But issue 1 never got me. So I'm excited to see what the other prints will be for the next issues.
Right, because I think... Wait, is there a second printing for number 2 yet?
Probably, I feel it's not releasing yet, or it might have before we start doing the series. But yeah,
that variant, that's a cool one.
yeah. So that's the
that's
that's the A cover to the Adventures.
Oh, serious? Okay.
Yeah, the other one was the B cover. So
I'd rather have this A cover. The A cover is way cooler.
See how they do it is they make the A cover the primary story and the B cover the second story, and then they do a variant. So the next variant is just a black and white incentive of that cover, which I think the incentive looks really good. I like the green color, but I like that.
You that in yourself.
That markered, and I don't have money. I don't have the money. Also, life. I don't think I want that. Mike.
Wait, what incentive is it? 10, 25?
I think it's a 25. I couldn't actually find. It's weird. I couldn't find the info on it, at least on the website.
That's going to be pretty rare for Star Wars Adventures.
Spec talking.
Oh, you said it's pretty rare? Oh, well, then hold on.
I love it. It's killing him.
It's so good. I hope at one point you replace that with him actually just on the ground.
Hey, by the end of this year, he's probably going to be on the ground after all this spectacle.
Keeled over. But yeah, that's the recent comics. I have to do one.
Well, awesome.
And yeah. Otherwise, there's just we only have 3 articles of news to talk about.
All right, hold on now.
Uh-oh. The news.
I love that.
That one's that's my second favorite. The Spec Talk's still my favorite.
Listen, I actually took a picture of the TV the other day because I was watching Rebels, and there's a
Are you got Spec Talk again? You'd be easy now. We gotta.
No. I mean, it's yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With his little hologram. Love it. That's how we should communicate these days. It's 2021, people.
Yeah, where's my hologram? I could have yelled at you and watched you carry your weight, your curling bar all the way home off the subway. Like, where are you? Move faster! I'm waiting here in my comfy chair. What is taking so long? All right, so what news do you have?
3 pieces. I'll start with the weakest ones because those are the weakest ones. So Republic Commando, the classic game. On the Xbox, I didn't realize it was only on the Xbox and PC, is being ported over onto PlayStation 4 and 5 as well as the Switch. And it's having a slight graphic upgrade, like a frame rate and cleaner, but it's basically just a straight port. And yeah.
Awesome. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. So I think it's fun that they're bringing some more of these older games back. And they did the thing with the Bounty Hunter game with Jango Fett. So I'm hoping that it's kind of giving way to them wanting to make more of these, those really classic games that they can have the sequels they never got. Like Imperial Commando, Knights of the Republic 3 eventually.
Yeah.
There's such things.
Don't tease me with that one, though. I won't be locked in my house for months at a time.
Right. That's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
I remember in college, my wife, I was talking about it the other day. And she goes, "You mean that old game that you used to play all the time instead of studying?" I'm like, first off, wow, it ain't that old of a game. And then I went back and played it the other day. I'm like, yeah, it's still good, but it's a little dated. It's got some issues.
Slow, very slow at times, but yeah, still one of the best easily. But that would be that's just a quick thing, just new game. Otherwise, all the other games, no updates. The other one that was interesting and more controversial is DK Publishing canceled the Mandalorian Visual Dictionary as well as it was 1 or 2 novels. And
yeah,
the thing with that is they just canceled it. So don't know why. They just said that it wasn't in line with what they were planning. There's stuff that they said that there's more to the Mandalorian world or the world they're building.
Ever expanding world or some
Yeah.
nonsense.
So they said, why release one in season 2 when we can wait? But then again,
it's ever deleting as well, I think.
Yeah, deleting certain people. But then you look at DK, they publish a book for every single movie that comes out. And it reprints half the stuff as well from the previous ones.
Here's the thing, though. Like, all of the publishing companies announced the exact same thing, but made it seem like it was their own words. Or like, well, it's an ever-expanding thing, and we're keeping our eye on it. But they all said the exact same thing at the exact same time. So you know who that came from. You know, our great overlord, Disney. Yeah, made sure. But I mean... It is what it is. When you cancel them, you gotta cancel them all the way through, I guess, because if you're making money off somebody that you said didn't deserve to be on your show anymore, it would be a little hypocritical. But at the same time, don't pretend like that's not why. Just say it. Like, just be honest and say. Because I feel like that's a problem that Disney has, is they're just not honest, because they try to play both sides. It ends up pissing off everybody. So they should probably just be like, look, it's a situation where it looks pretty bad if we're profiting off novels that have a character in it that, you know, we're probably getting rid of or whatever. So I'm sure that's what it is. But
yeah, I also
again, it might be something that, you know, if they're going to have to retcon what happened to her, and they have books that maybe were a little bit in the future, it's going to not make sense. So it could be
bridging the gap or whatnot. I wonder as well if I'm not sure how royalties work in terms of like the books and other than the shows, like in the books and such. Would they have to give her royalties for her appearance in the visual dictionary at least?
Visual for sure, probably, but I don't know about like novels and stuff.
With novels, definitely not. It's just the characters, not her. But I wonder then if that's one thing too. They wanted to cancel that, so they would just have to worry about paying her out indefinitely.
Which is, you know, it's weird. And I used to say stuff like that's silly, like when they get mad at like an NFL player or something, because the people that got put in the Hall of Fame in the 70s did way more worse things. But you shouldn't say that now, because people are literally going back to people when they just heads up. Any kids watching, even if you're 10 and you're on social media and you say something kind of saucy, they will hold it against you when you're 40 or 50. I'm just going to put that out there. So be very careful when you're on social media. There's some things going out there lately where like, well, when they were 16, they posted that they had a sunshine kind of day. And I think that was meaning something else. You're like, wow, they were like 16. Do you know how much horrible things I probably said when I was 16? Good Lord, I'm glad there wasn't social media back then.
Oh, my God.
All right, any other news?
And we had the last news is actually the only like notable news. Something that actually can be discussed and talked about is recently, Benedict Cumberbatch was asked about Thrawn and if he wanted to play him or would he be playing him if it was offered. And he basically said outright, like, I don't want to be painted blue. I don't want that. And he's like, that's not for me. He's like, I already have my hands full with what I'm doing with Doctor Strange, and I'm also always his stage stuff and everything else he does. He's like, I don't want to be painted blue and have to do that too. Maybe he's looking at Vision, like Paul Bettany, and he realizes how much makeup he puts on. He's probably like, I don't want to do that.
No, I would think so.
So,
first off, he's got one of the greatest characters in the history of human species, so he needs to concentrate on that. First off,
they're redesigning him by the Doctor Strange, by the way, for the new movie. They're trying to make him more comic accurate. So I don't know how much more bigger collar.
He did pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you got to have. I mean, but which one though? There's a lot of like I kind of actually
different versions
of Doctor Strange when he was. The only thing that I would say, I was wondering when he was going to show up and make a comment, because I figured he was going to right here, this fella here. And I knew it was going to be directed at you just because I had a feeling. Like, I know.
Well, the reason why this is on is because my hair is a mess. So
so I knew it was coming eventually.
I could have worn it like this, but then I look more like what you said.
You need some like dreads coming out. You need like fake dreads coming out of the bottom.
The other way.
That being said, though, like, I don't know. The one thing I would like for him to be is I think he's more like introspective, I guess, and he needs to be way more arrogant and borderline childish to be Doctor Strange. You got to be like way more cocky than he is. Most of the time, he's just kind of like, well, that's the way it is. I wouldn't mind him being a little bit more cocky. But that being said, I don't see him being Thrawn. Like, I think that's kind of weird. Maybe because I see him in other characters. Like, I just don't see. I mean, he's a great actor, so he would pull it off. But
just give it some nads, right?
This is definitely should happen. 100% that should happen. I think that is awesome.
That would be amazing. There was for Thrawn. I know people obviously. I think personally, probably easiest thing is just carry over the voice actor because they modeled him after him, and he looks. I mean, he has the voice, he has the part. Just make him blue.
Yeah.
But I saw other things. I was looking at like fan castings about it. Because I know Benedict. He looks. If you put him in blue, he looks like the Legends version. I know one there, and I couldn't find many that I thought were like good or like ideal. There was one person who I thought was interesting. Was you both have watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
So do you remember Catelyn's brother, the one who gets like jailed and everything? Tobias Menzies is the actor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He has a certain this is a good picture. He has a certain facial structure, which I think kind of works really well. And if he's like collective and calm, I can see it. That's if you want to go away from that actor, and if Cumberbatch isn't doing it. And I wouldn't want Cumberbatch for the same reason you said. It just kind of there's also so much you can only keep using the same certain actors over and over again. You'd want something more fresh.
And the only thing is, if you've seen the way he is in the books and the way he is in the, especially in the cartoons now, he kind of showed up. He needs to be it needs to be a pretty decent actor though, because he doesn't emote much emotion, but kind of does at the same time. So you need somebody who's very subtle,
not verbal,
with eyes and eyebrow raises, and it needs to be a lot of stuff. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as not arrogant enough or humble. Like, I don't know. I know you read some of the comics, but the dude has lost. He has been stripping. He's been stripped of his power like 10 times and didn't give a crap and still talk trash. Like, I will be back again. And he always does. So there is no humbling him. He cannot be humbled.
He'll have a mustache.
He just does this. And the next thing you know, everything's fixed. So you can't be humbled when you can do that.
But I think
is that the news?
I get something. Well, as far as Thrawn, maybe what they said that he might appear in the season 3 Mandalorian.
It'd be interesting because I'm really he's supposed to be in Ahsoka, is he, or is that just rumored?
I think he'd be perfect for any crossover they do, and I think they're planning on perhaps crossing over Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
at least those 3. But maybe he could do what he does, clone Jedis, right?
Yeah, he make Luke.
The Luke that showed up not be the Luke? Because if they're going to recast Luke and make him whatever that guy is,
wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, they make the clone of Luke is just the body double, just with no CGI over his face. That'd be very. I like that idea. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
You know what I would see him do with him though is spend a little bit of time, kind of like the way Marvel did with Thanos, and just have like episode, season 1, like episode 9 of Ahsoka. He's just in the background and he's standing there with his arms behind his back, and that way he stands there looking off in his space, and that's it. That's all you get. And then like 2 episodes later, you might get his voice or something. And I hope they kind of, because it was cool having Ahsoka just jump in your face right away. But man, right. I could have got a little, I could have took a little time to see her. I mean, it was cool seeing it jump in your face, but I kind of hope they, tease me a little bit, get my undercarriage tingling a little bit.
I like the idea of, the cloning, because they're bringing it from the prequels, and then, Palpatine was supposedly dabbling. That's how he brought himself back. And in The Mandalorian, they show all those containers full of clones that look like Snoke. So I think cloning could be something that they're going to bring in, other than the whole Mandalore thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mandalorian's gonna appear for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I would think so.
It'll be nice to see that. Yeah, live action.
And I think a good thing that came out of the whole cancel thing was the Rangers of the New Republic. They kept going, but they brought a new lead in, perhaps, which will be
Bill Burr.
Gary Busey.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Wait.
Just bring her in. It just makes sense.
Gary Busey, is that spec talk? Don't make me throw the spec talk back up. Gary Busey, you heard it here first. Only on the Bounty Hunters. Gary Busey confirmed.
Oh my Lord.
I do agree with this though. When I hear clone, I'm not gonna say it sounds like it's an easy fix or whatever, but it does kind of make me go. I can see them doing that, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, ugh, because like, and maybe I'm just bitter from the Snoke. I'm trying not to curse. My wife asked me not to because the kids want to watch it. The Snoke fest that happened where he's like, oh, they're just all clones and more clones. It's like, it's kind of like what Mo used to give me crap about Doctor Strange is when bad writing and they don't know what to do with it. They just, Doctor Strange appears, does a couple finger snaps, and then they're back to the way it was before. So I think that's what Star Wars does with clones sometimes.
We need the real Luke if they're going to bring Mara Jade. If they're going to canonize her, they need the real Luke.
Well, cool. I think that's it. Anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
Background is destroyed because that is the file cabinet things that I'm building. And I was in the middle of building it last night when I went to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully that will be all settled. Not that anybody really cares what goes on in my background, but
well, I want to see the whole background just envelop over. Well, you had to have.
I'll just do like one piece at a time. Let's see. Issue says clones worked really well for the Stormtrooper army, but Palpatine Snoke nonsense was bizarre and stupid. I totally agree. And if they could clone so many dark, powerful Sith, then why just one Snoke? Why not put 10 of them out the same? Listen, you're starting to get you gotta you can't think too much about some of these Star Wars lines.
Well, the issue I was gonna say quickly. The issues was with the cloning Force sensitives, it didn't work, or if it came out, they were very malformed, or just their mind was broken. So, like as in the Thrawn trilogy, the Luke, the Luuk, he's like all messed up in the head, and he's just like violent, thrashing around, like basically the opposite of what Luke is.
Right, that's cool.
So we're close friends, but don't try to justify those 3 movies. Don't try to make it okay. We will.
The movies did not follow any logic. Why is he smart? Why can't he talk? Why is he not slurring his words?
Well, cool. So that's it. Yeah. Thanks again, you two gentlemen, for joining. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody who showed up. Issues. I mean, if you didn't show up late, it wouldn't be an Issues joint. So I'm glad that you did show up the last 30 seconds and join in. That was awesome.
He goes to the rewatch and actually sees the character spot. Maybe he waited to see the character spotlight, and then we switched it up on.
Yeah, one of these times we really need to get like into something good and just have Issues as the 4th member and just watch them troll everything, because it will be some comedy.
We'll definitely we'll start bringing some guests on soon.
But all right, guys, if you catch us on the rewind, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. And by the way, again, I will point this out: we do not know who next week's going to be. We are going to try
this week we'll have a day of prep. We'll forget about it for a day. Oh shit!
Thanks, guys.